One move we didn't talk about is a move that didn't happen, and I'm looking at our document with projected break time. I'm looking at the clock. We got a little time here to mention this. Now, the Kareem Hunt trade didn't happen out of Cleveland. Kind of a surprise, but we've said, hey, look, Nick Chubb gets injured. Who's going to be your running back if Kareem Hunt's traded? Dearness Johnson, but then who backs him up? You need to have that stable of guys who are there and ready to go in the event that somebody gets banged up. But Brandin Cooks, the Texans were looking to deal him. The problem there is they gave him a contract that's very good for the player, very bad for the team, or any team that would trade for him. $18 million fully guaranteed next year for Brandin Cooks. That was an impediment to getting a deal done. Brandin Cooks wasn't happy that he wasn't traded. He tweeted, and I want to get the quote right. I'm not sure I understand it, but I want to get it right. Don't take a man's kindness for granted. Covered for the lies for too long. Those days are done. Crossed the line with playing with my career. That was the message from Cooks when he wasn't traded yesterday. There was talk he was going back to the Rams. Obviously didn't happen. Jerry Jones, the Cowboys owner, acknowledged they were talking to the Texans about a trade, but somebody was going to have to eat a large chunk of the $18 million. Whether it was the Texans or whether it was Cooks, somebody was going to have to do it. It didn't happen. And if you're Cooks, no reason to be upset. You got an $18 million fully guaranteed salary next year. Just sit back and enjoy it. Play wherever you play. But I think that they may have led him to believe they were going to work something out and get him traded.
Sure.
And I suspect there's still a chance he gets traded in the offseason if the Texans are willing to pay a large portion of that salary in order to move him to someone else and get a draft pick in return. Kind of like what they did with Brock Osweiler. But there they gave up the draft pick to unload the $16 million. Right. This time around, it's the mirror image. They're going to pay some of the money to get a draft pick if they trade Brandin Cooks after this year.
Yeah, I certainly had an eye open yesterday to Brandin Cooks and what might happen there. But for the point he's at in his career, a guy is one concussion away from being done. I mean, he's got a history there. That would scare me. And if the Texans weren't willing to pay a big chunk of that money, then, I understand teams not making that move. It's a little risky there, for sure, for a guy that's a smaller receiver. And what I don't understand, and again, I don't know what was said behind the closed doors, but, I understand Brandin Cook can be angry about it. But, when I was looking at this stuff yesterday, too, I'm just sitting there thinking, wait, but Brandin Cooks, nobody wanted to pay you $18 million a year. The Texans did. You can't be that mad at them. They gave you a really good deal where I don't know if anybody else out there was coming close to that number. And that's where I just want to, I know you might not be happy, and they probably led you to believe they wanted to trade you or they're going to get it done. If Nick Caserio told you that, I bet you he tried his hardest to do that. I don't look at Nick Caserio to be a liar or a BSer. But I also just sit there and go, wait, they gave you you're mad because you didn't get traded because they gave you a contract that nobody else would give you, and you accepted it, and now that contract is the impediment of you getting traded. You can't be mad at you not getting traded and you're making $18 million. I don't know. I just found that kind of hypocritical a little bit.
And the Odell Beckham Jr. transaction last year after the trade deadline, when the Browns let him go and he gave up some of his guaranteed money, that created a precedent.
Exactly.
And Brandin Cooks wasn't willing to go down that path.
He could have done that. Exactly. Right.
Could have done it. Right. Could have done it. And I'm a firm believer in getting every last dollar during your playing career because that is your primary earning cycle in your life.
Yes.
Once it's done, now you may go on to something bigger and better, but my goodness, for what you're making to play professional football, get it while you can.
Yeah.
And it would take a lot for me to say to somebody, go ahead and give up some guaranteed money. Nah, you got that guaranteed money. If the Texans did a contract they regret and they want to move you and they want to get trade compensation, then they should be the ones to pay part of this money. But if he really wanted out, he could have done it. Look, he was an Easterby guy. That may have created a sense that he was ready to move on, and we'll see how it goes. He wasn't at practice yesterday. Lovie Smith, the coach of the team, called it a personal issue. They got a game on Thursday night against the Eagles, and there's no way he's getting released unless he gives up some of that guaranteed money. There's no way.
No way.
If that's what he's looking for now, they're not going to guarantee him money to walk away. So we'll just see.
They need him to play. They need to look respectable here.
Do they?
Well,
Do they?
I don't know. I mean,
do they? Tank, baby.
Well,
tank,
maybe.
Baby, tank.
I just feel
First
bad.
Tank club. Don't talk about tank clubs.
I
let
hear
it happen.
you. But damn, yeah. I look at it and I feel bad because I just go, well, yeah. But everybody's gonna look at Lovie Smith after the year and go, look, he went 2-14-1. We need to fire him. And I don't feel like necessarily he's been set up that way.
He took that job.
I know.
He took that job. I mean,
I feel like Nick Caserio better be careful too, though, just because the optics are going to be coming, even if they are intending to lose here. It's just like the fan base is going to go, wait, this guy's been the GM for 2 years now, and we stink. What are we doing? Like they're gonna put themselves in a spot here where it's just gonna be so negative. They better watch out. That's the only thing I worry about because I like Nick Caserio. I worked with him and I have great respect for him.
We had a fun interview with him at the scouting combine. Well, I was sitting here and you were there among the various COVID variants.
Right.
I'm not gonna be able to avoid it this year. I have a feeling
you're going, baby. We're bringing you there.
This is fine. I love it there.
Good.
But when Easterby was fired, our good friend John McClain, who covered the Texans since their inception in 2002 and covered Houston sports for years beyond that, he said that Caserio is safe. But if Cal McNair hires some executive VP of football operations and gives that person the power that Easterby had at one point, Caserio may not be safe. He may be safe for now under the current structure, but you start introducing new personalities into the conversation and the dynamics can change. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.